Do y'all hear that? Are y'all hearing what I'm hearing? The drums of peak fiction are sounding off. And with good reason. Because they know what week we are in the wonderful year 2024. This Friday, January 27th or the 6th, one of those 2 days, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. We going to Hawaii, son. I can't wait to be there with the boys again. My hype levels are all the way up here, man. They were right here, which is already extremely high, when I originally finished Like a Dragon. After Gaiden, they were like right here. But right now, it's up here. It's up here. That and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are what I'm looking forward to the most. And Kai no Kiseki, right? Because there's just so many games, so many quality games that are of my taste, right? It's nuts how many games are coming out that are part of my favorite franchises. We've got a Like a Dragon game coming out. We have a Tekken game, a Persona game, 2 Trails games, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's like, brother, I'm eating. I am eating, man. So I just thought it was the perfect opportunity to do this. And I know someone watching this video is like, he actually remembered. Because I said I was going to do this at some point down the line. I just didn't know that it was going to be the day or the week of Infinite Wealth release. I didn't know. You didn't know. I didn't know. But listen, man, I couldn't help but do this. I was going to do this either with y'all, on my own, on stream. It was going to happen eventually. But right now, my hype is so high for this series and for the greatness that's incoming that I was like, man, I gotta do this. I gotta rank them, bro, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be difficult because to rank such greatness, especially for me, who's someone very undisciplined, and already, it's very difficult to differentiate my favorites, it's gonna be even harder to try to put them into a tier list. So these are going to be my rules, and I'm going to try to stick to them. But if the peak starts speaking, I'm going to listen. And if I feel like something needs to be immediately in another tier, I'm going to add it to that tier. All right, I'm going to add it there. So this is my criteria. I'm going from C all the way to peak because I don't even know if I'm going to have one in C, to be honest with you. I don't even think that's going to happen. But I'm only going to be doing the main Yakuza / Like a Dragon games. As much as I love Judgment, those will not be on here. And I love the Wano one. I forgot the name of it. But the one that takes place in Wano Kuni, right? Back in whenever that was. The samurai one, that one's super cool. Like a Ishin, that one. That one is super dope, but we're not going to be talking about that one either. We're just going to be going through the main line games, and then Gaiden, which I know Gaiden is the transitionary title between Like a Dragon and Gaiden, or Like a Dragon and Infinite Wealth. So having that as a transitional game, I'm also going to be going through that. So my criteria is going to be the top spot, the peak. Those that are in there are reserved only for the ones that it's like instant. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to consider it. Those are my favorite games in the franchise. All right. I like, there's no debate. That is going to be reserved only for those. Only for those. And there's a few of those. So we'll be going through those. I think the way I'm going to do this is in release order, because that's the way that I originally went through this franchise. So starting us off is the PS2 classic, Yakuza 1, man. And that is an easy S tier for me. Easy S tier. Starting off with this one was so special for me because I have a soft spot for like those old games that where the clunkiness is a part of its charm, but also where the aesthetic is just so unique to its time period, right? And this is a PS2 game through and through. From the way that it's played, to its story, to the way it's presented, but in the best ways possible. I remember the thing that stood out to me the most, which is kind of crazy considering we'd actually get a game of like this later on down the line, was that the way the game was structured from a storytelling standpoint kind of reminded me of like an old detective movie, or like those murder mystery movies where you would take the role of a detective protagonist. And instead here, you're the legendary Dragon of Dojima. The legend himself, a member of the Yakuza, who is sort of going through this plot that would normally accompany something else. It's like a mixture of genres. Obviously, it's still within the crime genre and stuff of that nature, but I just really liked the way this game was, the way that the vibe and the aesthetic was kept even to the core of its foundation and its structure. Through every single beat, through every single character, through every line of dialogue, I go back and I like watch scenes from this game, and especially in the English dub, and it's not only just the nostalgia speaking to me, it's the fact that, dude, it's just the vibe, all right? It's just the vibe, bro. It is in the S tier just off vibes alone. And if you can't mess with that, make your own list. Make your own list, all right? Yakuza 1, easy S tier. Introduce the greatest, right? Kiryu, Haruka, come on, man. Come on, dude. And just overall, the way that that everything just lands constantly to the point to where it feels like its own self-contained story, but obviously you could build on it, and they most certainly did with the next game in the franchise, a game I absolutely love as well, Yakuza 2. I'm putting this in the A tier, and we'll talk about why that is whenever we get to Kiwami 2. But this one is, like the first one that I absolutely adore. I just have not gone back to it since I played the Kiwami version, which is the version that I think I like more, mainly because of the mini games, man, and because of the Dragon Engine. But the mini games in Kiwami 2, we'll talk about that when we get to that. But Yakuza 2, obviously, Ryoji Goda, my guy, that's my dude, right? Same thing with Kaoru, right? But I'm a Ryoji guy, man, all right? So when you have the boys and you have that storyline going down, it's like, how could I not really appreciate this game? I actually think that this game in particular is one that I continue to love more with time, similar to the first one. Just the first one was the one that I started off with, so I have so much love for it. But I really love Yakuza 2 as well. I'll talk about, whenever we get to Kiwami 2, I'll talk about why it is that I like this game, because I feel like I need to make the comparison. So, you know what? Screw the release order stuff. Where's Kiwami 1? Because I feel like I need to talk about this right now. Where's Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2? So Kiwami 1 is down there in B, and Kiwami 2 is up there in S for me. Kiwami 1, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. I don't know, man. I remember playing through it. This is like the only one that I've never really visited again after finishing it. But I just remember really appreciating what they were trying to do with the Yakuza 0-esque fighting style and the little additions they did with Nishiki. That especially was the highlight for me of Kiwami within that story. But I just felt like there was something with the aesthetic and the vibe that was off, especially in comparison to the first game. There was, like I said, it might just be a product of when the game was created. It can't help that in regards to attempting to capture something that was so brilliant on the PS2 console. But there was just something that was off for me that I've never really been able to put my finger on, that allowed it to be a less goated experience than the original game. Even though I enjoyed my time with it, I did not enjoy it nearly as much as I thought I would, based on the memories that I had in the first one, right? And now the complete opposite of that would be Kiwami 2, which Kiwami 2, I absolutely adored every single second of this version of that story. I thought it excelled in every single thing that it was trying to do. And the additions they made, especially coming off of the Zero plot line with what they did on the Majima side of things, truly made the game excel. To the point where I was like, yeah, I dig it. I really, really dig Kiwami 2. It's a fantastic, fantastic experience. And for me, it is the, like, definitive Yakuza 2 experience. The one that whenever I'm feeling the itch to go to Yakuza 2, I will go put in Kiwami 2. It's just fantastic. The way they did that final boss sequence as well was so peak in Kiwami 2. So peak. So those are going to be my rankings for that. Now, let's go ahead and go into the next two, which are so interesting for me because these I feel like are the most difficult to rank because of the stuff that I really, really like about both of them. So Yakuza 3 for me is like S potential. Actually, it's peak potential. But I might have to slide it in S. I'm thinking it's either A, S, or it's not going to be in peak because I got to think about it. I gotta put it in S. Bro, I love, when I tell y'all, the orphanage stuff in this game is genuinely some of the most memorable stuff in the series for me. I love it, man. The thing that sticks out with this game for me is the orphanage stuff, the side stories and side quests that take place within the orphanage stuff, and the boss fights. Those three in this game are at their absolute, like, yo, this is that gas. This is that gas. There's a particular plot twist within this game as well that caught me so off guard when I first played it, where I was like, holy sweet mother flatters, what's going on? I think if the game actually had a bit more of the orphanage stuff, it would be my peak. It would. I love that section of the story so much. And as time has gone on, Yakuza 3 has only gotten higher for me. It really has. It really, really has. It's a really, really special game that I feel like if it would have had a Kiwami 3 to maybe add on a few things with context, it could easily be peak. Easily be peak. That's just my take on that. But I really like that game. Definitely the one that got me most invested in our beloved main cast, in Kiryu, Haruka, and stuff of that nature, right? Like, I love those characters, obviously, but this is the game that they made me realize that, right? Like, I have a strong connection to these characters. The next one is tough. Once again, peak potential. S-tier potential. But, man, I don't know, dude. This one's so tough. Yakuza 4. Akiyama by himself makes me want to put this in S. I'm going to be honest with you. Akiyama by himself. It's like the C route in Trails into Reverie. And like just the Akiyama section of the story makes me want to put it in S tier. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I like the complete package as much as I do. Bro, the end of Yakuza 4 is so much fun though, man. The end of Yakuza 4 is so peak. I'm gonna put it at the top of A tier. At the very, very top of A tier. Because I really like Yakuza 4, man. I don't think I like, besides I don't know, man. I do dig this game, bro. I dig it, but I feel like because I've never had the itch to go back and replay it, I don't know if I could put it in S. Because in S, I have had the itch and I've gone back to replay all of these, especially certain sections. Never had the itch for Yakuza 4, but I did enjoy my time a lot with it. That final sequence, man, dude, that final chapter of Yakuza 4 is really peak. It's really, really good. I appreciate what they attempted to do with the multiple different protagonists and stuff, and the intertwining storylines. It made for a really unique experience for the franchise. And for that, I truly appreciate it. But I do think the next game that resonated with me more than in Yakuza 4, personally. So I'm going to leave it an A. S potential, like I said, I really love Akiyama as a character. So I'm nearly there. But just not quite. I still really appreciate it, though. So let's go ahead and talk about the next one. The next one for me is an easy peak. Easy peak. Yakuza 5. This game right here is really when I fell in love with this series, right? Because I like I said, enjoyed the first game, really enjoyed the second game. The third game got me so attached to the characters. The fourth game was straight hype. But this game, yo man, Haruka's route, the Haruka. Are you kidding me, bro? Yo, rhythm game heaven, man. Bro, Kiryu out here taxing. I mean, come on, man. The bear with Saejima, bro, there's so many things that I can think back to and be like, yo, I dig this game heavy, man. I do, bro. But in particular, it's that final stretch for me that takes it over the top for Yakuza 5. I love that final stretch. That final stretch within this game is generational material. It really is, bro. I'll never forget just the way that the game presented the art of Yume, right? The art of dreams in each individual route. And to have it culminate at the end of the game with the strong message of choosing your dreams or the individuals that you care about in a time period when I was really feeling that. It put that at the forefront, and I loved it, man. I love the choices that are made. I love how human it feels, the themes that are tackled. The gameplay is just fun. But that final part is so emotional because you feel it, man. You really, really feel it. It has one of the greatest final shots out of any Yakuza game. It's incredible. It truly, truly is a game that I think about all the time, and one that I just want to go back and replay like all the time, especially certain sections. It's a really special experience, and definitely the one that after I finished it, I was like, yo, I'm here forever. I am here forever, and I feel like we're just gonna stick with this because Yakuza 0 is right after. Easy. This is easy. This for me is easy. I'll never forget. I picked this game up. I think it was like a couple of weeks before Breath of the Wild came out, and it was gonna be my last. I think Nier was. I don't remember. I don't remember. It was 2017 at the beginning. I was going ham on the PlayStation before the Switch came out because I knew once Zelda came out, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go crazy on that. But with this around the corner, I was like, man, all right, I'm gonna buy it. All right, I'm gonna buy it. What is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here, about to unbox the greatness of Yakuza 0 and the Kingdom Hearts awesome sauce, man. Let's go ahead and first take a look here at the awesome sauce of Yakuza 0. I gotta play through the rest of the games first. Like I said before, I've played the first one, but I want to get more of the story before I dive into this one. And so I bought it, and I kept the game until I caught up to where I was. I don't remember where I was at the time with the games. But I wanted to catch up to release because I remembered how much I loved Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater for playing the games in release order and then seeing the events that took place in the past and having that context of like the epicness of prequels when you have the context of what happened in the present time. I wanted to have that again here with this. What I didn't expect was to come out of it the completely different appreciation for both Kiryu and Majima. This game is so good in everything it attempts to do. Mini games, the storytelling, the characters, the boss fights, the music, it just has everything. It has everything that I look for in one of these types of games, but especially the overall package that this game presents, the vibe. It reminded me of like the first time that I went through the first game, where I was like, oh man, they captured it on a PS4. They managed to capture the original Yakuza 1 vibe that I felt when I first started playing these games. And I just loved it, man. Like I said, coming off of Yakuza 5 and playing this, it hits so much more different because I wanted to know what happened, right? It's a massive cliffhanger. But then you go back to the beginning, see how he became the Dragon of Dojima, but also get really attached to Majima. And it's like, man, such a good game. Such a good game. It's a universal game too, where I feel like even people who don't really play these types of games enjoy this game because it has elements that can work in any story. You put this game's story in a novel or in a movie and it still works because it has elements that work in all kinds of mediums. What those mediums can't capture is the brilliance of the side stories and of the silliness that happens in those types of situations, because they normally would not include stuff like that, right? Video games can. And I think that's where this game excels, is within its side content on top of its incredible story. So shout out to Yakuza 0 for its incredible dual protagonist structure and everything it does well there. Man, and we're just gonna keep going here because, man, yo, these are special, bro. These are really, really special. Coming up next for me, without question, at the very top of peak, Yakuza 6: A Song of Life. This game right here, I remember when I was looking through at the very peak of my New Japan Pro Wrestling hype, I saw that Kazuchika Okada, the champion at the time, was gonna be in a video game, and it was the Yakuza games. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And I remember somebody posted, we were in a Facebook group where we would, talk about wrestling and stuff of that nature. And someone posted a couple of screenshots from a magazine that had Okada and some of the other wrestlers within the game. And I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And that's whenever I decided to go play Yakuza 1, right? And embark on the journey that would take me to where I would eventually get to. I didn't play Yakuza 6 when it came out because I was still on the journey, right, to get to that point. But once I got to this game, and my investment in all the characters, coming off of 5, coming off of 0, were at their absolute highest, oh man. Dog, this game, in terms of the cast that it introduces, the most impressive thing to me about Yakuza 6 is how it serves as a culmination to every game leading into it and every thread leading into it. But it also provides, I think, what might be the strongest set of newly introduced characters within Kiryu Saga that I'd seen to that point. I love all of those characters. Almost every character that was introduced within this game is like a dog. Yeah, I see him on the street. Homie. Easy homie, right? Easy. Listen, man. Side content in this game? You know how much time I spent in the baseball minigame, bro? I was there for ages. That one minigame where it's like the little strategy RTS type of thing, where that's whenever you get a chance to control like the wrestlers stuff. Love that one too. So good. The side quests, man, that's similar to, we'll talk about this here in a second, with Gaiden, takes advantage of the entire series and your connection to all these characters to this point to explore all of the incredible characters that have been introduced through these side quests and through these sub stories. This game just had it all, man. And then there's whenever you're having a grandpa time with Haruto and shaking the baby, feeding him, and it's like, come on, man. Come on, dude. So many callbacks, so many great moments, so many great scenes. It touches upon my favorite aspect of the series, which is the orphanage and Kiryu's connection to those characters, to Haruka, to Haruto, to the squad, right? And I just loved every second of it, man. And it was also one of those things that I'm very weak to, which is when one of my favorite characters goes on a journey by themselves to do something within their respective series, especially whenever they're usually around other characters, right, we're used to seeing, but now they're by themselves. I tend to really like that within my stories, and the Song of Life just took that to the next level, man. And I still remember so many sequences in that game, like right off the top of my head, how I felt during certain things. This was one of those that when I started playing it, I couldn't stop. And that was because of not only how much fun it was to play in the Dragon Engine, and all of the new things they added within here, everything just, it was so crazy, bro. Coming off of 0, then coming to this. With 0, I love its art style and its aesthetic too. But 6 just felt so different, where I was like, man, this is crazy. It felt like I was going to the next gen. You feel me? It was like going from PS3 to PS5. I mean, this is nuts. So I really like that game. I always will. It's a special one to me. And I feel like with time, it's only solidified its placement, especially with the ways that the other games have gone since then. So that one's there, and the next one right next to it, come on. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Yo, Mr. JRPG, Mr. Turn-Based Games. When I heard they were making a turn-based game, I was like, there's no way. That was the only thing that was missing for me when it comes to this series. Because the gameplay, even though I really, really enjoy it, it's not my preferred style, right? I'm a turn-based JRPG gamer at heart, and I always will be. So when I heard they were making it as an April Fool's joke, I was like, all right, that's cool. But when I heard it was real, we were going to be changing protagonists. And with the changing of that and the passing of the torch, we were going to be getting a brand new turn-based battle system. I was like, bro, that should be the greatest game ever. Ichiban, Kasuga, and the squad, bro. Yeah. I love this game, man. In concept, when you enter battle and you go into his mind and you see everything the way that Ichiban would see it, the enemies, how they completely change, how you completely change, and in your party, the way you gather party members, the business management game, which by itself was like 20-something hours on my end. God, man, the story as well, bro. The story in this one's so good. So good. Shout out to my boy, Papa Arakawa, man. My guy. And the final chapter of this game is so peak. They just captured the brilliance of final dungeons in JRPGs so well, and with so many callbacks to what makes this series so special. I love this game, man. I really, really do, which is why I'm so excited for what's to come, because it's going to be a combination of Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 7, which are my 2 favorite games in the series. It just is, man. So, it's like, bro, what we got there, to me, is so impressive, because normally whenever we go from, characters that I'm used to seeing all the time to brand new characters, it'll take me a while to get used to it, right? It's one of the reasons why Trails from Zero from the Trails series is so special to me, because like Yakuza 7, we were able to transition into brand new protagonists, and right off the bat, I was like, I love these dudes. I love them. They are immediately a part of my heart and soul, the same way the original cast was. And so these characters, everything, man, Ijin Show, just so many things. But this game, at its core, at its foundation, it just has such a strong message as well. One that I really needed at the time of playing it, man. And just very, very powerful stuff. Fantastic characters. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Like a Dragon is most certainly one of those where the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, this is what's possible when video games are like at their very best. It's so good, bro. I love Like a Dragon, man. I really do. And then finishing it off before, of course, the Infinite Wealth Greatness that is going to be coming out later this week is the man who erased his name, bro. I'm putting this right at the top of S tier. And I would put it in peak, but because it just recently came out, I feel like it's bias for me. Recency bias, I should say, to put it up there in peak. This one is so tough for me. It's so tough because at its very highest, it is without question in peak. It has my favorite moment in this series, or one of my favorite moments in this series, undoubtedly top 3, in the ending of this game. The ending of this game is so powerful. It like raised the series for me and Kiryu higher than I had him before. And it once again goes into the Yakuza 6 thing of characters when they go on their own solo journeys and how that ends up, you know, being a major part of the plot as he meets up with other characters to help him along the way. Returning characters like in Yakuza 6, returning subquests and sub-stories. The Colosseum, that was incredible in this game. And whenever you connect with the Like a Dragon plot, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. But the ending that wraps it all together, the foundation of this game, God, I might have to put it in peak, bro. I might have to put it in peak. I'm sorry, man. Real deal. I might have to put this in peak, bro, because y'all gotta understand, man. The ending hits like nothing else, bro. It does. It does, man. That entire final chapter hits on so many things that I love about this franchise. So many things. So many things that I love about this franchise. It's like, bro, come on, man. I have to put it in peak. I'm sorry. I have to, bro. It's a game that means too much to me. Like, I remember when I finished it, I was just in awe. Like, they're really doing this. And now that I'm looking at this, how wild is it that from 5 to where we are right now, those are all my peak. I didn't even realize. 5, 0, 6, 7, and yeah, this just spells good things for me with Infinite Wealth then, because all of the other ones that have come out from the moment that 5 released all the way up until now are all in my peak tier. And I'm perfectly fine with each and every single one of them. And there's placements. No question. What a special series, man. But yeah, man, The Man Who Erased His Name, man, dude, just propelled Kiryu to even higher plateau than I had him on. Like, he was already extremely high on my list, but top 5 without question now, man, especially after that game. And I can't wait to see what they end up doing with Infinite Wealth. I can't wait, bro. Like I said, based on the list, y'all can already tell that why I'm so excited for Infinite Wealth. Whenever you're combining the elements and the pieces of the stories that mean so much to me, that make this series so special to me. And that's going to be the main prominent thing of this one game, following in a similar type of structure as Yakuza 0, 2 different characters as they go on their journeys. Of course, they'll be together, but I'm going to assume at some point it'll be like they'll be together, then split off, together, then split off, or whatever they're going to do. Like, that's one thing I'm really looking forward to with Infinite Wealth as well, is how they handle it from a structure standpoint. I know they said it's going to be the longest game in the series, so there's obviously a lot of stuff they're going to be going through. But I wonder how they're going to pace that out through both characters, and how often we're going to be in both POVs, one POV or just the other POV, right? Like, exciting stuff all around. But I really can't wait, man. So one final thing before we wrap this up is to put these in order. Now, Kiwami 1, definitely I have it at the bottom. Yakuza 2 or 4, I'd probably say I like 4 more than the original Yakuza 2. 3, Kiwami 2, Yakuza 1. I think I might have... I love that first game too much. I like, Kiwami 2 without question is a better game. But the first game is just so special to me. And I really like 3. So those can stay there. The top is tough. 6 and 7 for sure. That's my 1 and 2. No doubt about that. 0 is probably my 3. And then 5 and Gaiden. Do I like 5 or Gaiden more? They both have extremely emotional endings. Whew, that's tough. That's tough, man. I don't know, dude. Which one do I like more between these two? I think it'd be 5. Especially since I've been with it longer. I even considered putting Gaiden in S. Yeah, so I'll leave it right here. This is my final list. Final list: Yakuza 6, Yakuza 7, 0, 5, Gaiden, then 1, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 2, Kiwami 1. Those are my favorites, from favorite to least favorite within the mainline franchise. Let me know your favorites down below. Are you as excited for Infinite Wealth as I am, man? We are going to be getting some peak here soon. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see all of the, especially after the demo, can't wait to see all of the different shenanigans we're going to be getting into in Hawaii, all of the new mini games, all of the new different types of sub-stories and characters we're going to meet in those sub-stories, returning characters, and how the tone and the vibe shift within this game as we go from the very comedic portions to the very serious portions, as this franchise knows how to balance. But with the very serious things we're going to be tackling in this game, I'm looking forward to seeing how they end up doing all that, how they balance it, and in particular what they're going to do with two characters that mean so much to me in Kiryu and Ichiban, and how they end up continuing and or concluding their journeys. I'm so excited for it. It's definitely, like I said before, one of the things I've been looking forward to the most, and it's almost here. It's right within our grasp. And I just can't wait to continue their story, man. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So thank you so much for watching. Please give me your list. I have no doubt your list is going to be much different than mine. This is just my own personal list. So I will see y'all next time. Have a good one. Take care. Shout out to RGG, man. They just know how to make good games, bro. They do, bro.